Hello and welcome to the Light Warrior Academy Presents. Today I am speaking with a young author. Oh, I've got a bit of fragmentation. This fragmentation wasn't there a minute ago, and that is okay because we all know as internet entrepreneurs, sometimes technology goes a little bit sideways, and we are not going to let that distract and defer us from our guests. Her name is Jordan Wright. She is, again, a young author. She is a mompreneur, and she has written this incredible young adult book that has just hit traction. It was published here just last November, and it has been in #1 spot for Kindle downloads in 3 different countries. And if you think that's amazing, I got to tell you, her journey in being able to pursue that has been absolutely spectacular. And I want to share that with you, but I'm not going to. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Jordan here so she can go ahead and share this for herself. Jordan, can you tell the audience a little bit about securing that contract in creative space? Yeah.
It was such a whirlwind, let me tell you. So I actually wrote this book with my daughter. She's 4.5 now. I started writing it before she turned 1. And as all you mums know, life gets in the way. So it actually took me 3 years from beginning that book to actually getting it to the point of being able to be published, which was just, you know, it was always something I wanted to do. I always wanted to be an author. I've always loved Harry Potter. It was such a big part of my life. And I was just in the shower one day and I was like, how amazing would it be if I could create a book that kids or even adults, because I've watched and read Harry Potter multiple times in my adulthood. How amazing would it be if I could teach people like manifestation and law of attraction and breath work and gratitude skills in a completely fiction manner so that they're reading it. And so instead of running around with their wands and making spells, they're actually going outside and putting their feet in the grass or saying all the things that they're grateful for or creating a vision board or talking about the things that are bothering them without even realizing that they're implementing the skills. I wanted to create something that would be as natural as brushing their teeth, just because they're copying what these characters are doing that I've written in the book. And the most amazing thing is that that's actually happening. so I don't know how often what you go out to achieve actually happens on the first go, but it did. What happened was I sent my manuscript to my publisher, who I met, and she is absolutely incredible. World-class publisher, sorry. And she was actually running a competition called Indie April back in 2019. And what that meant was that hundreds of authors like myself who wanted to get their books published sent 3 chapters of our manuscript into her competition. And my manuscript actually won. My manuscript won, and it has just changed my life from there. And because that opportunity came about and that changed my life, I have now been able to help change the lives of other people through my book.
That's so good. So good. So I just want to take this opportunity and speak to the audience and let them know that if they have any questions for Jordan and being able to publish your own book, to go ahead and put it in the chat. But make sure you click that StreamYard button up above so we can see who you are, because it's not as much fun, you know, just getting the little Facebook user says. We want to be able to engage with you and have Jordan answer your questions, because this is such a huge feat. So Jordan, what would you say was the greatest challenge? I know you talked a little bit about time, but I'm sure there's so much more to the process than that. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So as anyone who's ever put anything out into the public space would know, thank you, darling.
Bring her on. Tell her to come say hello.
Gonna come say hi? This is Charlotte. She was one when I started.
Charlotte. You want to say hello to the audience?
Say hi. Hi.
You know, there's something really special about being a mompreneur and being able to see your dreams come to reality and sharing that with your babies and being that role model. Thank you so much for jumping on board here. Oh, what a cute baby.
Okay. Yeah, so,
okay, so overcoming the overcoming piece.
Yeah. So for me, and I'm sure that you've come across it in your business and anyone's come across it in any business, is the question whether your creation is absolute crap. so
I think we've all gone through imposter syndrome. I don't think you're alone in that one.
So the need for constant reassurance that what I'd written wasn't absolute garbage was my biggest thing. I knew that it wasn't because I obviously won the contract and the people I shared it with loved the ideas, but the closer it got to like getting published, the more I was like, oh my God, what if these people are just being nice to me, or what if it was just a fluke, or what if it was a mistake or something? So I really had to kind of sit back and be like, look, Jordan, none of this would have happened if this wasn't meant to be, if you weren't going to make a difference, if this wasn't an amazing manuscript, So I had to really overcome that and to stop myself from editing my book 500 times before I put it out there.
I bet that could have been such a challenge of just keep judging your work over and over and over again. So would it be fair to say that your best strategy was just letting it go and letting the process happen?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And to trust the judgment of others. So this is it's the whole reason we have like beta courses or drafts or anything, to see whether this is a product that someone wants, and if someone says yes, don't question that.
Yeah, I'm just so excited and so impressed because this isn't a small book that Jordan has written. It's a Harry Potter sort of book. So what is it, like 600 pages, something like that?
No, so it's about the size of the first Harry Potter book, but they're gradually getting bigger as the Harry Potter books have, because it's going to be 5 in the series.
Wow, that's amazing. So does your contract extend to all 5 of these books, or you got help with your first one, and now that you've got your wings, you're kind of flying solo now? That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yes. So the way that because I worked with a hybrid publisher, which meant that you get the best of both worlds, both self-publishing and traditional publishing. What happens is you would normally pay in advance, and then in return, you would get the high quality professional standards in marketing that you would get from a traditional publisher, but you also get to keep your creative content and get 100% of the royalties like you would as a self-published author. So what happened was I won the manuscript that would pay for my first publishing. And from there, I then pay her for the rest of the 5. But I want to stay with her the whole way because she fell in love with my book the same way that I loved my book. And from the publishers that I'd met, no one else had done that. So this publisher I've met is like a unicorn. She's created a world-class publishing house and has helped so many people. So yeah.
So what would you say, because you had mentioned that you were selected out of hundreds of manuscripts that were submitted. So what would you say to that person that's also trying to publish their book and get selected?
Yeah, so do it. Just put it out there. If you're not sure whether it's at a level, get someone to ghost read it or to beta read it and to give you some tips, because what I found is that because the story is so ingrained in your head, you tend to automatically assume that the reader knows what's happening in your head. So for example, in my first book, in my head, my character was lying on a hill on some grass. But what had happened is I hadn't actually written the word hill in the description, but as I went and referred back to the memory, I mentioned the hill further on. And so when my copy editor came up to me and said, I know what you mean, but you just haven't mentioned this visualization in your book. So it's really important to just, because everyone has a story that needs to be told. I 100% believe that everyone has had something in their life, or has something happened to them, or has a family history, or a fiction book, or a children's book, or something that the world needs. So if you are doing that, or if you do want to be selected, or if you do want to get your book published, one, just get writing, get started, reach out if you need some help. And two, get a beta reader to check over it, to, give you that peace of mind that it isn't a pile of crap. And three, do your research on publishers, or whether you want to go traditional publishing or self-publishing or hybrid publishing, and find the one that meets your needs the most. Because writing is it's such a welcoming community, but there's so many people out there who want to hit that number one spot. So you need to find the person who's going to support you the most in that journey.
Now, I know that you mentioned in there that reach out if you need help. Is it true that you help writers to tell their story?
I do. So alongside my own fiction writing, I have a group where I work with people and talk to people, and I ghostwrite for people. I've just created a beta course where I'm going to be going through 4 really intense weeks from the very beginning to the perfect manuscript, and giving you guys advice, and helping you read over as much as possible, and making it really interactive, because it is such a daunting process. But this is my love, this is my passion. And what actually happened was, because I won this publishing contract, it gave me the credibility for people to go, oh, you can write, I need help. And so I actually just fell into this. And because I could write all day, every day, it's been absolutely magical. And it's actually given me time to write my second and now my third book as well of the series. So
exciting.
Yeah.
So, what would you say was your core strategy in making this reality come to life? What was the step-by-step from simple idea to, oh, I'm going to submit my manuscript all over the place to get it published?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 different types of writers. So there's plotters and there's pantsers. So plotters are the people who know exactly where the story wants to go. They've plotted out chapter by chapter, the messages they want to share, and all that kind of jazz. And then there's pantsers, where they just sit down and simply write their books and see where it goes. I am a pantser. I will admit that. I have no structure when it comes to writing my books. I just basically channel what story needs to come out of me. It means more editing in the long run, but I tried plotting my first book and it turned out awful. I had to start from scratch, which is again why it took me 3 years to get this first book out. But my strategy would be, figure out what type of writer that you are. Have this, if you don't have a story in mind, just start writing, because it will come to you, because you may also be a pantser. But if you're someone who needs to know, chapter by chapter, what you want to be talking about, the messages you want to be sharing, the characters, everything like that, you just need to sit down. You just need to create, it's basically just a graph, and you'll have storyline, chapters, characters, and all that kind of jazz. And you will know whether you're on the right path, because it will feel easy. You won't be struggling to get this story out. If you're struggling to get the story out, you're going to need to take a step back and have a look at the way that you're writing, and see whether you're actually on the right path, whether you're following your instincts when it comes to writing. Because writing is such an instinctual, creative process. And then once you're happy with it, I like to edit my books 3 times to make sure that, spelling mistakes and inconsistencies, and to make sure it's all descriptive. Because every time you edit it, you're going to come up against something new that you hadn't noticed in the last draft. And then again, once you get it copy edited, they'll find some things. And then I edit it once more again to make sure that everything kind of fits in and works, before I then make the decision to send it to whoever I want to publish. So if you want to go traditionally published, you'll have to find a literary agent. If you want to go hybrid publishing, I can introduce you to my incredible credible publisher who I actually have a direct line to now, so I can slot you directly into her calendar. Or if you want to go self-published, there's so many tutorials available to you if you want to go self-published as well. So basically, my number one strategy would be figure out what type of writer that you are, because once you do, it's so simple. It will change your life when you figure out whether you just need to start writing or whether you need to plan things first. And both strategies, both ways of writing, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you just need to figure out what feels natural for you.
So what would you say would be 2 to 3 tips for our audience that protects them against failure? I mean, we've got author hungry people here. So how can they be successful and protect themselves against failure?
My number one tip that I implement every day is just 100 words. Just do at least 100 words. Just open the document and write 100 words. It's like 2 or 3 sentences and that's it. And sometimes I'll only do the 100 words. Sometimes I'll do 1,000 words. Sometimes I'll do an entire chapter. But you just need to take that first step and just open the document and write. My second tip, and this is actually how I help authors write and help my ghostwriters, my ghostwriting clients do it, is that if you don't have time, or you're in the car, or you're out shopping or whatever, voice note your book. Google Docs has a voice note option. It can be done for fiction, it can be done for non-fiction, just again, that 100 words. I don't have time, couple of sentences, a minute of talking.
Oh, your sound just went out. No, oh, yeah, there we go.
Yay. Yeah, sorry.
You're on the profound track when tech starts acting up on you.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, you are just dropping bells and bombs here on how to really get the job done. So you've covered, sitting down and writing at least 100 words. Like, who can't do that? If you're not doing that, then you're in excuse and procrastination space, especially with that voice tip, right? Yeah. So that's fantastic. So how has that equaled your success? How did you get from there to success?
It like you said, it's just stopped my procrastination. It stopped my excuses. I literally had no reason to not write. And if I didn't, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't 365 days a year that I was writing. I'd often take weekends off because you need that mental break. Or if I was just exhausted, if I'd had a really tough day with the kids, I would just go to sleep instead of writing. But all that meant is that the next day I would do 200 words, or and I would make up for it somehow. But don't punish yourself for not doing it. It's like exercising. It's you're not going to get the results straight away, or you just need to consistently keep your habits active and flowing, and then that's how and then before you know it, your book will be finished. You'll be at the point where you're like, did I just write a book? Is this finished? Am I ready to do the second draft? And you'll be like, I've done 75,000 words. Did I really do that?
That's amazing. What a journey to success. And you really did earn your place on that number 1 spot. So what would you say is the best strategy that you've learned, and how did it create that lasting impact in your life?
Yeah. So, is it not working? No, Shadow, you just got a new one. No. There you go. Sorry.
No, so good.
So the strategy that got me the lasting results, that was the question, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the strategy that got me the lasting results was to just talk about it, was to put it everywhere, was to just completely jump out of my comfort zone and ask people to share it, or just drop it into the topic of conversation, or if ever there was a thread on Facebook that said share your offers, I would be like, hey, this is my book. It's a mix between Harry Potter and The Secret. You know, this is the link, or it's on pre-sale, or I've just won this publishing contract and all this kind of jazz. And you just need to put it out there, because while you assume people may know because it's either in your Facebook profile or you have a link to your website or something, chances are they don't. So you actually need to tell people about your books or your whatever, so that they know. And then often, like 99% of the time, people go, oh, I didn't even know you had that. That sounds amazing. I'm going to buy my copy right now. And so that makes such a difference. Yeah.
I can't imagine you not getting traction on a book that's mixed between Harry Potter and The Secret. I remember when you told me about it, and I got crazy excited because I've got littles too, maybe not quite in that age range. Mine are closer to Charlotte's age there, but yeah. I got really jazzed up because for someone like me, I'm always looking for those secretive ways to add that good quality value into those everyday lives. So what would you say Jordan Wright is known for?
Well, right now, or what I want to be known for? Right now, I'd be known as the chick with the mandala book. But what I want to be known for is the chick that overtook Harry Potter.
Ah, oh, so good. Yeah, and you know what? Harry Potter did go down that dark path. Like, it started out as a really nice, light read. I remember it was targeted towards young adults, like 11 to 13-year-olds. And then by the time the series was over, it was like 18 plus, man. Yeah. Right? And I love the integral values that you bring to your work. But in kind of the direction of the question, I'm kind of thinking more strategically for our young authors that want to be the next Jordan Wright.
Yeah, well, then I suppose I want to be known for as the chick that just didn't quit. So you guys hear me. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So good. So good. And, you know, that's really important, I think, for any entrepreneur, no matter what field you're in. The key to winning is just not stopping. How many people give up? You know, you see that comic with the guy that's digging towards the gold pile, and right? Yeah. And if you just keep going, you'll hit that pot of gold. Yeah. I mean,
it's not easy, you know, it's not easy at all. And there's days where you're like, why am I doing this? Where's my like local jobs available? I just need that regular income. You know, I'm so scared. I can't provide for my family. You know, I'm so scared that I can't, you know, my family are bugging me. They're telling me to get a real job, all that kind of jazz, which actually I was quite lucky that I have a family of entrepreneurs anyway. So none of them ever felt the need to say that. But I have friends, my partner's family are quite, you know, 9 to 5, all that kind of jazz. So I've had it, and I'm really stubborn, to be honest. And so as soon as someone said it, I was like, no, thank you. No, this is what I'm doing. They're like, but you haven't garnered any results. I'm like, yet. I haven't garnered any results yet. And they'll get really frustrated, to be fair, but you know.
So what I'm hearing from you, from the audience's perspective, that if you are getting those naysayers coming into your world that's telling you to give up, stop, it's not good enough, it's not going anywhere, to just stop and breathe and check yourself with your goals. That's really what I'm hearing. And you can rephrase that in your own words if you like.
Yeah, basically just, you know that you're on the path that you're on for a reason. You know that what you're creating is going to be big. It's going to impact lives, not only your life, but the life of others. So you would be doing the world a disservice if you didn't keep going just because 1 or 2 people don't believe in you, you know?
That's such good advice. You know, it seems like it's really simple, but it's fantastic advice, because a lot of people don't realize when they do get that negative feedback that it really is just one or two people out of 7.2 billion. 7.2 billion people that potentially can believe in you and your vision. So I love, 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 love that feedback. So what's the number one strategy that you're running with here in 2021 to
just put the next foot in front of the other? Just keep going. For me, I was really lucky. 2020 didn't hit me that hard, but 2021, man, this year has already just come swooping in. So I know a lot of people who've gone through a similar thing as me. So my main goal for 2021 is basically get your ass exposed to as many people as possible and just put that next foot forward. If you get rejected 100 times, send 101 emails. Just put that foot forward. I'm ready to be like as big as I know as I can be.
Oh, that's so good. And I think that's such valuable advice to really just keep moving. And it's on those days when you feel like you don't want to keep going anymore, when your feet feel like they are full of lead, yes, still move that in, because every counts.
Like, just belly roll, do something, just move forward an inch if that's all you can do, because some days that's all you can do.
So that's so good. So how can people get their hands on you and your book?
Yeah, well, I am most active on Facebook, so you can join my Facebook group. That's linked down the bottom here. You can add me on Facebook. Please feel free. You can find my book on Amazon. It's called The Mandala Chronicles. It's available on all Amazons in all countries. You can reach out to me whenever you like if you have any questions. I love meeting other people, other aspiring authors, and giving them as much advice as I can, because I did go down a very non-traditional route, which can sometimes scare people. Even though I feel like it provided me more support than what the traditional route would have done. Or if you're unsure how to get in touch with me, I'm sure that Sam will be able to help you out. Reach out to Sam and we can, connect.
That's perfect. So I just want to clarify, what is the right person to come to you?
Anyone who, two ways. Anyone who feels like they have children or themselves who would just want to read my book and want to get some insider information about it. I always share my insider information. Or two, anyone who has been wanting to write a book, has had ideas about writing a book, has ideas but they don't know how to put them to paper, or anyone who has written a book but doesn't know the next steps. I have all of that covered for you.
That's so good. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me here in the Lightwarriors Academy. This space is dedicated for people just like you who are striving to make a difference in everyday people's lives. So thank you so much for stepping up to the plate in two different ways. One, through teaching people how to become better people through entertainment, one of my favorite avenues. And second, through helping people to be able to share their stories as well. So thank you again so much for being here. Do you have any closing thoughts before we close out here on the Lightwarriors Academy Presents?
Well, number one, thank you so much for having me on. I was so excited to jump on here with you. And just some closing advice that has always helped me is just don't give up. Just don't give up. You're on this path for a reason. The reason it's not easy is because it's going to be worth it,
I love that. That was such a closing statement. Thank you again so much for being here in the Lightwarriors Academy. Make it the best day possible. Bye for now.
Bye.